If you're wondering where I've been down a trophy wife rabbit hole all week. Today is Friday, November 22nd, and I guess this drama began a week ago today. 1 week ago today, Friday, November 15th. Even though I didn't watch this woman's video the first day she put it out. It's weird, but YouTube started promoting this I Married a Monster video out the wazoo. I mean, they were showing it. I must have seen it, I don't know how many times, just show up in my suggested, and I saw this beautiful woman sitting there, like on the floor or whatever, and I knew, okay, she has a story to tell about some man she's married. I thought to myself, oh, that kind of looks interesting. I might watch it later. Well, I don't know when they started promoting it, but YouTube was like blasting impressions in our faces, like up the wazoo. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. It was very sad. It's a whole sad story. I'm glad I didn't sit down and make a video about it on here yet until now, because it's taken so many twists and turns, and I still don't know the truth. I'm like Pontius Pilate. I'm asking, what is truth? Not in a sarcastic way like he did. I want to know who's really telling the truth here, because what's really sad is that there are children who have been harmed at the heart of it, and that's what saddens me the most. We're going to take this in stages so I can get through this whole thing, make it make sense and make it appropriate. I have to have guidelines, a writer, and I have to have like subheads. I want to tell you first what the new trophy wife said to go viral starting a week ago today, what the courts say. That's where I've been really deep diving into the Baltimore City, Maryland court system. Oh my goodness. Lord help. I want to know what the court says. I don't want to just know what he said, she said, what the niece says, what everybody else is saying, what the husband might be saying, what the wife might be saying. I want to know what the courts actually say. So I really dove deep into all their court cases. And we're going to talk about what the niece of this trophy wife's husband says, and what the trophy wife clapped back with, and finally, what might God say? I don't know, but let's just start there. I'm going to start using their real names. I mean, they're already out there, and I'm going to link to my sources, including the court websites, because at this point, this is very serious. This trophy wife has made some allegations against her current husband that are egregious. They involve children. They involve horrible allegations. Some people are claiming she's lying. Her husband's niece is claiming the trophy wife is lying. So she's talking about lawsuits and implying slander and all that. So since it's come to this point, and since it's public record, and since it's already out there, I'm going to say their names. The husband in question, his name is Orenthrow Jermaine Dowdy. So I'll just call him OJ. It's easy to remember OJ. The trophy wife on YouTube, she goes by the name Isis. I don't know why she chose that name, the new trophy wife. I mean, I know people are named that. It's not just Isis, but I like her real name better. Her real name is Paloma. I find that pretty, so I'm going to call her by her real name. What the trophy wife said to go viral. We'll start here. I have this long text edit document. I've been like, whew. I Married a Monster. It's a viral video that has swelled to more than 2.2 million last I checked on her channel alone. 2.2 million views since it was published November 15th, 2024. So in the video, it shows Paloma. She's a 29-year-old mother of 5 children. And she claimed just one day she discovered, according to her, her husband had been inappropriately touching her 2-year-old and her 4-year-old girls, the ones they share together. Her description read, "Was scared to post this, please be kind." And I tell you right now, people have been anything but kind, some folks, because they are just calling her all sorts of names, everything but a child of God, because some people believe she's lying, some people are really on her side, some people are in the middle. I have to stay neutral. I'll tell you, my heart went out to her when I first watched it because I believed her. I know I can be naive at times, but I'm also a background checking, researching type of person, but I know people lie. The crux is finding out who's lying. So she was scared to post it. As of 7 days later, it's the only video left on her channel. Now, I did download some of her videos, so check the links below to my Patreon. I will see how many I can get up over on there by the time I publish this. I didn't download all 59 videos, but I've got a few, so I'll link to those. To give you an idea of the type of content she posted, it was not the type of content talking about sexual assault allegations, the ones I watch. She goes by the name The New Trophy Wife or Isis Morales, and that's not her real name. Her real name's Paloma. Okay, she married this guy OJ in 2019. She's 29 years old, he's 50. So part of her whole shtick is that whole movement. I didn't like it when Kevin Samuels was talking about it. I don't really like it now. There can be benefits to some of this stuff, but I don't even understand it all. They're talking about high value this, low value that, low vibrational this or that. All that crap, I'm sorry. It's kind of teaching women, in my opinion, to be gold diggers and sprinkle. I don't know. I don't know what it's all about. I mean, heck, I'm 55, so I might come off as your auntie or whatever. But my point is that mindset was not my mindset. My parents all worked hard. Everybody in our family, I'm believing it. We all grind. We're all grinders. We all give in some way to each other. If you got it, I got it. Let's take care of each other. It's not about the man needs to go out and make 6 figures. Bless God for anything we have here is my point. It's not all about this who's high value, low value enough. Do you weigh the right weight? Do you look the right way? Do you carry the right bags? Blah, 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 blah. We can't take it with us. Isis Paloma, she's a lifestyle and dating coach. She specialized in creating trophy wives through pairing concepts of hypergamy, I don't even know how to say it, hypergamy with Christianity and psychology. That's the part. Ooh, I just watched this other woman who so many people are reacting to Paloma's video. Oh, I wish I could remember her name. She was great. I just subbed to her. She was saying, yeah, you can't mix in these philosophies, this law of assumption and this hypergamy, whatever it is, with Christianity and, just try and water it down and make it seem like it's all the same. She was good. This woman, she's like, look, Paloma should have really prayed about what kind of husband she would have or her next move instead of jumping into this marriage. I guess hypergamy, Google says, is the practice of marrying or dating someone of a higher social status or sexual capital than oneself. I guess it's like always level up. It can also refer to the act of continually replacing a current partner with someone considered superior. Ooh. Okay, now some of this stuff might be pulled down off the internet, but Paloma, she had courses. She was doing one-on-one with people. She was coaching people. Learn how to date with intention. Manifest the life you love and deserve. Create the family you've always dreamed of. Let me guide you in creating a new image for yourself. Okay, so that was her shtick. I know that's like a little routine. Maybe that's a little cottage industry for some people. Maybe it's really going away now. This trad wife thing, and it's no diss on trad wives or whatever they call it. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom for years. Bless God, I got to stay home, raise my children, and build a writing career. In the meantime, I only went back to corporate America in 2004, I remember, for like 8 months on a contractual basis, and then I was just back at home, and the whole time God has blessed me to build a writing career, build this YouTube career. My husband's with his corporate career. It's just from God. But here are the big allegations Paloma had against her husband in that I Married a Monster video, where it was unlike any other video on her channel. And at first I was applauding her for coming out with it, something different, dropping the mask. So in the video, which I'm sure many people have already seen, I probably won't play any or not much of that, but she said, I really thought that the man was my Prince Charming. He portrayed himself to be this amazing, upright Christian man, righteous man. She started to see some things she didn't like. This is the part where some people missed. Around that time, Paloma flashed on the screen these allegations that her husband had basically sexually assaulted her 4 times in the first few months of their marriage. So again, that's, a big bombshell. If that's true, it's kind of like some people are asking, why did you stay married? Why did you go forward? Because at this point, let me give you a little background. It's really hard to understand her story in a linear fashion. Like most of us, we know we are all over the place, but it helps me when things are in chronological order. As I understand it, Paloma's 29. So 5 years ago, she was 24. 5 years ago, when she met and married OJ, it was 2019, she was 24. She already came into the marriage with 2 boys who were not the biological boys of OJ. I don't really know who their dads are or dad is or whomever. That part still isn't even clear to me. She said she got pregnant when she was 17 and the other boy came along. So I don't know if she has had, at the point she entered this marriage with OJ, a 7-year-old boy, and I don't know how old the other one was, younger than 7. She married OJ. There's a lot more backstory I'm sure we're missing, but they got married relatively quickly. There's talk going around of people saying she only knew him a week, but she's going to clap back, and I'll read her responses at the end, where she talks about, I knew him for 6 months. I did a background check. I didn't find anything. She marries OJ. She has 2 boys. Okay, 2 boys with another man or men. With OJ, she had 2 daughters and now just had a young baby boy. And he has his name, OJ Jr. It's so sad. So check it. They have 5 children now. 5 children as of 2024, counting the first 2 boys from the other person. The bombshell in her video comes. She says, 6 weeks ago, I was changing my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive, and immediately my first thought was, did someone touch her? So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was daddy. Now, those are her words. I might play that quote just to quote her exactly.
6 weeks ago, I was changing my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and I noticed that when I changed her, she was red and very sensitive, and immediately, my first thought was, did someone touch her? Oh God. Gosh. So I asked her, I said, baby, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was daddy.
It's funny how people misconstrue or fill in the blanks to me without truly listening. Just because Paloma said I was changing my 4-year-old daughter, immediately I started seeing people say, what's a 4-year-old doing wearing diapers? A 4-year-old girl shouldn't be wearing diapers. First of all, I never heard Paloma ever say I was changing my 4-year-old's diaper anywhere. Now, granted, the 4-year-old could very well still be in diapers or pull-ups. It's not unheard of. You know, I know people who work with special needs children. I'm not saying her daughter is special needs. I don't know. Beautiful children. I will not play or put their photos up anywhere. I've seen them on TikTok. It's bad because I feel like they're too exposed online, but let's just talk about the situation. People are saying, what's she doing changing her 4-year-old daughter's diaper? We don't know if the girl was wearing a diaper. She didn't say diaper. If she was wearing a pull-up, sometimes if kids are still potty training and they might still wear a pull-up at night. I don't know if that's what she's talking about. You know, was I changing her pull-up? Or did she just mean I was changing my 4-year-old's clothing? You know, I was just changing her. She just said I was changing her. So people just like run off with this narrative. So I don't know. Anyway, she was very sensitive and red. And immediately my first thought was, did someone touch her? So Paloma says she asked her daughter, did somebody touch you? And she ended up saying it was daddy. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just quoting what she said. Other people have gone off and said, Paloma asked a leading question. She was like, did daddy touch you? Now that's not what she said she asked. She said she asked, did somebody touch you? And she says the girl, 4-year-old, ended up saying it was daddy. That's just the scathing accusation that Paloma made against her husband.
I felt like my world ended on that day. My husband wasn't home at the time when she told me, but I knew he would be coming home soon, so all I could do was just say, don't tell him that you told me. And I just instantly started trying to think of how I could get my kids out of the house, because I knew if I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie. And that he would probably just continue to keep doing stuff to her, but just become more covert or more sneaky or whatever. As soon as my husband got home, he was actually picking up the boys from school, my 2 older boys from school. As soon as he got home, I told him that I was going to go Halloween shopping with my sister because I just needed an excuse to get out of the house with all the kids. And I knew if I said something like, oh, I'm going to the grocery store, that it would be suspicious. Like, why am I bringing all the kids and, like, packing things, like, things that we would need and things like that. So going Halloween shopping was the best thing I could think of to just hurry up and get the kids out of the house. I'm sorry, I had to get myself together. So when I got to the hospital, they basically told me that we had to go to another hospital because they didn't do physical exams, like that kind of physical exam there. So a police officer escorted the kids and I to another hospital where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old.
Paloma said, I felt like my world ended that day. My husband wasn't at home at the time when she told me, but I knew he would be coming home soon. So all I could do was just say, don't tell him that you told me. And I just instantly started to try and think of how I could get my kids out of the house, because I knew if, I confronted him or asked him about it, that he would just lie. He'd probably continue to keep doing stuff to her, or just become more covert or sneaky. Okay, immediately it sounds almost like a movie in terms of scariness if this is true. If she truly, saw that from her 4-year-old, and if her 4-year-old truly made an outcry, it was daddy, and then Paloma needed to get out of the house right away. I understand why she played it off. I'm not saying Paloma is telling the truth or lying here. I'm just trying to say this sounds plausible, this part to me, because some people are saying, girl, why didn't you confront him right then and there? He would have been this, he would have been that. And I'm like, no, you don't confront. I don't know, maybe because I do so much true crime and I see so many cases. If you're trying to leave any situation, whether the man has been violent with you or not, or the woman, whatever, you're planning for a divorce, confrontation, that's the worst time. That's the time when some people get killed. Some people just don't live to tell the tale. There's a lot more modern day advice which says, especially if you're dealing with any type of violence or anything, you plan ahead, you save up, you create a safe plan, you create a plan of escape. So I understand why she did it that way. So she's claiming as soon as her husband got home, because he was actually picking up the boys from school, the 2 older boys. So as soon as they got home, she waited, I guess, for all the kids to get home. She said she was going to take all the kids Halloween shopping. Instead, she goes to the hospital. She says, so when I got to the hospital, they basically told me that we had to go to another hospital because they didn't do that type of physical exam. So a police officer escorted the kids and I to another hospital where they were able to evaluate my daughters. It ended up coming out that he had actually been touching both of my daughters, who are only 2 and 4 years old. That's the bombshell accusation. It's just an accusation. That's all we can say. That just set it on fire. People weren't expecting that. People weren't expecting this man to be accused of doing that to his own little girls. ISIS Paloma starts a GoFundMe titled Starting Over on Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. So that's when I must have really watched her video that Tuesday. Maybe that Monday, whatever. I'd been avoiding watching it. I watched it. I was like, oh. She started this GoFundMe. She wrote, thank you for all of the support. I can't begin to express what it's meant to us. And for those whom wonder why I did this, I was left with no other option. If you feel compelled, please donate to help us starting over. Anything helps. God will get the glory. So at that point, I was moved. I really was moved. And me researching mine, I'm trying to find every freaking thing about this woman. I don't even think I knew her real name, but I was trying to find, okay, where is he? I was finding out the guy's name. I was on Lipstick Alley. They're great. They were the ones who, I was able to find his real name, eventually her real name, through the court system. And I was like, wait, I don't see this guy's arrest record, because me, I'm trying to find the arrest record. I'm trying to get the body cam videos. I'm trying to show you guys the real. So ISIS received flack, and she commented, this story is 100% true. Legal proceedings began the day we left. This man has left us with Nothing. He's continued to abuse me even after I left him by taking all money out of accounts and cutting off cards, having my car stolen. He cut my cell phone. As of this morning, I've had to sell stuff just to survive. This is not a game. Why the F do I even need to explain after he's molesting his own biological children? I would never make this up. Jesus as my witness. ISIS claimed he even cut off her internet. People were like, girl, how are you even posting this? And I'm like wondering, is she using someone else's phone or what? She claimed she was forced to apply for food stamps. So, in all transparency, I'll let you know I have donated to her GoFundMe. You might have even seen the comment I wrote to her. First of all, I do donate to a lot. I donate a lot to GoFundMes if I see a person and I get that unction, if I feel maybe this is legit. And GoFundMe, they'll refund you if it's not, if it comes out it was a scam or whatever. So I do give. I give a lot, and I give through my church, and through a lot of outreach where they give to Convoy of Hope, boots on the ground, helping hurricane victims. I like to give. I mean, I know I gotta pay bills, but I do believe in giving too. Hurricane victims are out there where it's snowing now and they're intense. I mean, I feel for people, especially when their kids involved, especially if they're hungry. And I get it, some people might be running a scam, and sometimes I'm not like, woo, willy-nilly everybody. You know, I don't respond to every sob story, but especially if it's kids involved, and don't make me start crying, but if somebody comes at me and they're like, I need some help for my children to eat tonight, yeah, it could be a scam. I pray to God it's not going towards drugs or something. I don't want that. But I know there are people out there struggling, and if it can make the difference, $20, $100 between a kid eating dinner tonight, I just sometimes take that risk. Because by the grace of God, I've never gone hungry. Because by the grace of God, I've never gone hungry one day in my life that I've not chosen to. You know, there's times I've choose to fast or do whatever on some crazy diet, but growing up, by the grace of God, we never missed a day without food. I was never homeless. I never had to live in a car. I've heard of these stories of people who their lights are out, their heat is out in the winter. So that's why I feel for people. Isis was on her GoFundMe saying, thank you for clicking this link. Please donate if you can. A little from everyone could go a long way for my babies. Thank you for your support during this difficult time. God's not done yet. And again, whoever might be running a scam, like I say, that's between God, Jesus, and that person. They'll have to deal with the situation that'll happen if they're running game on people. It's not the fault of a giving heart to want to reach out and give to others. It's more blessed to give than to receive, and that's the God's honest truth. So I wrote in reply, because I was all in my feelings, of course, after watching her first video, and I did see some of the court records, so I started researching, and people were saying, oh, she totally made this whole thing up. This whole thing is fake. None of this happened, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I wrote, I've seen the court records, so I know this is real. So I knew it was a real situation. I just don't have still, even after all these pages of court records, I still don't have all the facts to know what accusation will be proven true. But I wrote to her, I'm praying for you and your children in Jesus. Was he ever arrested or just the protection order? And I know on another one I saw divorce records, and I left comments because I'm trying to get to the truth to bring to you guys actual facts. I see the divorce records. Was he arrested? I was trying to say, am I looking in the wrong place? I can't find this guy's arrest records anywhere. What the court says. Now we're gonna have to dive deep because I was kind of like background checking these people like I was about to marry them. So let's go through it quickly. I ran the names just through this Maryland's court system. I think that's where they're based, even though they have other states attributable to them. So I might not have the info from other states. Let's just focus on Maryland. Starting back on May 24th, 2016, OJ versus some woman named Michelle. I won't give the whole name. Something was going on with some type of contract, civil. It's closed now. It was regarding some kind of claim about $3,500. It was dismissed. We don't really know the details there. That's one thing I don't like about Maryland's court system. You can't click through and like download the actual documents, you know, the ones that aren't sealed or too private or whatever. You can't like download any documents unless you're a lawyer. I wasn't about to lie, say I was a lawyer, but I did call. She gave me the number for the criminal division. I was calling and I set up an account in one place. You can only get so much. You can only get so much info from their court system. But what I got is telling, and it involved another child beyond these 5 children that they share. But I want more. I have put in more FOIAs and public records requests because I do want body cam videos and just actual documents like the one Paloma showed in her Clapback video today. She showed an actual document, an actual protection order. Moving on, November 29th, 2017, OJ, he had a citation, traffic citation. He was driving on a suspended license. So whatever, that might not be a big deal, whatever, hopefully, whatever, he fixed that. May 16th, 2018. Now we have the state of Maryland versus some woman named Jones, but the complainant is OJ. So there's something where he's complaining, I guess, about this woman because she is a female born in 1999, some kind of malicious destruction of property valued, I guess, at over $1,000. So there was some kind of plea, and it's hard to even know without the documents how the case resolved itself. So we don't really know the details there, but that's not what's really important either. Moving on, March 9th, 2018. OJ again was involved in a traffic citation. He has 3 of them. He failed to immediately return and remain at the scene of an accident involving bodily injury. So that's kind of scary, but I don't know how that resolved. November 21st, 2018. Now we have a Dowdy versus Dowdy. Now, mind you, this is the year before meeting and marrying Paloma. OJ is obviously divorcing his ex-wife, Danielle. Danielle's the plaintiff. Oh, pro se attorneys, just like me in my first divorce, went in there and did it myself. The plaintiff is Danielle Dowdy. The defendant is OJ. So in my mind, I'm not a lawyer. Since Danielle is the plaintiff, it sounds like she filed for divorce. Divorce, absolute. The case is closed. And it has a bunch of hearing dates listed, blah, blah, blah. We don't know why they got divorced. It's uncontested. We don't even know if they share any children. But what's interesting to me is some of these notice issued hearings, uncontested divorce, happened March 2019. Remember, that's the same year Paloma was meeting OJ. So when was he on eHarmony? Paloma says she met him on eHarmony. I'm assuming that was 2019. She met him. Their first date was great. He asked her to be his girlfriend allegedly on that first date, but she was kind of like, you know, playing the whatever this hyper gamey game is. I don't want to be your girlfriend. Of course, why? You know, buy the cow if you can get the milk for free. And Paloma allegedly was breaking up with someone, needed a place to stay. I don't know where people get this 1 week from, but she says she knew OJ for 6 months. Somewhere in 2019, Paloma and OJ get married. But if she did some background checks on him, well, I guess I see what she's saying. At that point, if she did a background check on him in 2019, she would have only seen a few traffic citations and she would have only seen the divorce. So now I see what she's saying about I did some background checks and I didn't see anything, depending on what time it was in 2019. Because by September 10th, 2019, we have OJ versus a woman named Lexus. I'm not going to give you her full name. This domestic violence case was filed, but the petitioner was OJ and the respondent was Lexus. So he's petitioning, you know, he's not defending. So there's a temporary protection order. I believe it was requested. It's hard to know which one was granted. I don't think this one was granted. So all through, we've got September, October, November 2019. It's all this orders and petition denied. Finally, that took a long time. That's really weird. Why is it saying 2024? That's really weird. This case that started way back in 2019, it's saying not until August 28th of 2024 was the motion, request, petition denied. That's really weird. I don't know who this Lexus woman is in relation to OJ. It is a domestic violence case, but OJ is bringing it against Lexus, the way I understand it. And he was seeking, I believe, a temporary order, and eventually it was denied. So that was weird. Now, moving on, November 1st, 2019. I got these all in order, bless God. The state of Maryland versus Lexus. So Paloma's having a problem with whoever this Lexus person is. The way I was wondering, I was like, is Lexus someone that OJ was involved with in 2019? Was he breaking up with her, or what was going on there? And all of a sudden now Paloma is having problems allegedly with her. Okay, the state of Maryland versus Lexus happens November 1st, 2019. The case type is criminal. The complainant is Paloma. So whatever happened, there's some kind of peace order charge, a misdemeanor, failed to comply, and then there's also another charge for electronic communications harassing. That can happen when someone's texting someone, stalking someone, putting crazy stuff online or whatever. There were hearings throughout 2019, a warrant, writ served in 2020, an initial appearance in 2020, a petition for expungement in 2024, and notice concerning expungements. So again, we don't know yet until I get all the actual PDFs what the details of these are. But it sounds like Paloma and OJ coming into each other's lives were not healthy for either of them. March 8th, 2021. Paloma's custody case. I feel like I didn't put down all of the details of that. I don't know if Paloma was going through custody issues, a custody battle with the father of her older two boys, but that was going on around March 8th, 2021. Obviously, she had custody of the boys. I don't know if they shared custody, but obviously she's in possession of the boys from her videos and from the scenes she described and everything. Moving on, August 7th, 2023. Paloma posts a celebration of her 4-year wedding anniversary, which had just recently happened. So she put this, I believe, on Instagram. I was able to still find it on Threads. The new trophy wife. That's kind of where she, goes by all online, but she's pulled a lot of it down now. Not everything. But she's like, hey, trophies. That's what she calls her fans and followers, I guess. My husband and I celebrated our 4-year anniversary the other day, and here's one important tip I've learned that can benefit many feminine/masculine relationships. Tip: trying to be right will never get you the response you're looking for. When I try to argue my husband down about why my opinion, choice, point of view is more correct than his, the more he wants to be right. Releasing the need to be right in turn softens your husband's heart and makes him want to see you pleased. Yeah, all this stuff didn't age well. Even if there is some truth in some of it, it just didn't age well, considering this whole case. What's going on here? Let's move forward. We're getting closer. November 11th, 2023. This is weird. Both Paloma and OJ were accused of some type of domestic violence against a 7-year-old, but it looks like the order was denied. You can check all this yourself if you want to. It's a lot. I'll just put the link to all my notes below because it's a lot. The court system is the District Court for Baltimore City Civil System. This is a domestic violence case. So OJ is the defendant. He has an attorney and everything. He has these orders. Stay away from school, shall not contact, and all this stuff, don't enter residence, the stuff we'll see. But the order was denied. It says there is no statutory basis for relief. And I had to look it up. That means the order is denied. Generally, the court has determined the request made in the petition does not fall under any existing laws that would allow the court to grant the requested relief. So they couldn't find, I guess, enough evidence to. Essentially, the legal grounds for the request are not supported by the current statutes, meaning the court cannot legally provide the desired outcome based on the presented facts. So this woman, I'll just call her Juron, I guess is her name, versus OJ, this domestic violence closed case involved a 7-year-old. Of course, I won't say the name of the 7-year-old, but it's a 7-year-old boy born in 2017. So for some reason, this person, I guess, was seeking some kind of a protection order or claiming violence against both OJ and Paloma. I'm not sure if it's like OJ's baby mama, some other person, I have no idea. But there was a lot involved. There were hearings, there was a temporary protection order sought, all this stuff. Cancel hearing due to order denied. So that's kind of all we know about that. But it involved Paloma too, because she has another case number, domestic violence case closed against Paloma. She'll be 30 next year, and this petitioner on behalf of this little boy, I don't know that situation. I'm not sure if that's what the niece was eventually referencing, as we'll get to towards the end here, because that niece was claiming it got convoluted the way people speak sometimes, and if it's not clear who they're talking about or what the circumstances are or what the backstory is. I believe OJ's niece was accusing Paloma of some other type of harming a child. I don't know if this is what she's referencing, but I don't get that from these court documents like I have as of today. Now let's move on. Another date, November 12th, 2023, the state of Maryland versus Paloma. This criminal case is closed. This involves a different complainant. I have no idea what it's about. Someone named Forney. Now this could be what the niece was referencing. The charges, these are just charges. Child abuse, second degree, felony circuit court, November 9th, 2023, assault, second degree, misdemeanor. So how did it resolve? We don't really see how it resolved. There was a plea, but without the actual documents and without more concrete evidence, it's hard to see what happened. We know charges can be listed, charges can be levied against almost anyone, but until we see actual convictions, until we see a confession, until we see a guilty plea, we don't know how it resolved itself. It's so much court stuff. And some of this stuff, mind you, Paloma was going through. I mean, this is late 2023. She's going through some of this stuff, I believe, when she's, launching her whole the new trophy wife type of persona. And I asked myself, is this why VineLink lists OJ with a court event on December 12th, 2023? Paloma has an event listed that same day, and she has others. She's listed on VineLink with April 10th, 2024 events. But anyway, back to this September 24th, 2024 event. This is the big event. Okay, this is 2 months ago. Today again is November 22nd. 2 months ago, this is the main event, the main court documents, the main court listings that they're talking about in this I Married a Monster case. So this is what I'm really paying attention to now that we have all that history and backstory of everything the court lists behind us. September 24th, 2024, there was a temporary protection order that OJ tried to get against Paloma, and it was denied. Now that's what precipitated this? On behalf of 3 children. So this is where the big question lies. Is September 24th, 2024 the day that they realized something's going on with the daughter? Did the daughter make an outcry that day? Who was the perpetrator? If something truly happened to the daughters, to let Paloma tell it, she immediately went to the hospital and all this stuff. And then her husband tried to do whatever against her. Let the niece tell it, it was the husband who immediately tried to divorce his wife and get charges against her. So it's convoluted, but this is what the court says. September 24th, 2024, the temporary protection order he tried to take out against Paloma was denied. Domestic violence, East Side, it says the case status is closed. The respondent is Paloma. The petitioner is OJ. He's trying against her to get a temporary protective order. They have a hearing. The temporary protective order was denied on behalf of one of the girls. I won't say her name. Same day, on behalf of a different girl. Temporary protective order denied. Same day. Third case, domestic violence. Same thing. OJ against Paloma. He's trying to get a TPO denied. So the court immediately says this order is denied because there's no statutory basis for relief. Why did OJ immediately try and get a TPO against Paloma on behalf of their 3 children? Little OJ Jr. He tried to get a TPO against Paloma on behalf of his 3 children, but the court said no. Now, why did the court say no? The niece is going to blame Paloma's older son for the abuse. OJ's niece is claiming it was, the older boy who was touching everybody. And so that's why my uncle OJ, he got the order against, or he tried to, I guess, protect himself, protect his children. Like, is that true? Is that why he tried to get these 3 TPOs to get his biological children away from her oldest son? I don't know. Let's keep going. All I'm doing is reading court documents. Like, oh, I love her. What is her name? Like BJ Investigates says, reading court documents is not slander. I am only reading what the court documents say. The very next day, September 25th, 2024, Paloma is filing charges against OJ, but it says only on behalf of one child. That's all I could find, on behalf of one child. September 25th, 2024, domestic violence, child abuse. DV transferred. So this domestic violence case was transferred. We will see. It's on behalf of only one of the daughters. I don't know if that's the 4-year-old and why it's only on behalf of one. If she says that, maybe because that's the one that made the outcry allegedly against her dad. And I don't know, was that girl coached or was that girl telling the truth? Of course, I'm not victim blaming at all. I'm only asking questions. I'm only trying to dig for the truth. A 4-year-old to me is old enough to make an outcry. She can, and she's old enough to be coached. So we just don't know. If the girl really said that, I hope the courts listened to the girl, and I hope they were able to talk to a psychologist, determine, has this 4-year-old been coached, or is this 4-year-old telling me the truth? That's where the crux of it lies. Now, it looks like Paloma got her temporary protective order because it has hearings, request to transfer to a different court, temporary protective order. It looks like she got it. And I Googled why this was transferred to circuit court. So this was important. It was transferred from the judiciary court to the circuit court. And I Googled, a case might be transferred from a judicial court to a circuit court because the circuit court is typically a higher level court with broader jurisdiction, meaning it can handle more complex or serious cases that the judicial court might not be equipped to handle, often through an appeal process where the losing party in the judicial court seeks to challenge the decision based on or legal errors or interpretations. And we see some returned undeliverable mail just the other day, November 20th. They were trying to serve somebody. So I don't know if it got transferred because they needed like this higher level court to determine this complex case, or was Paloma appealing something? But she really got her TPO. We saw her holding it in her hand. September 25th, 2024. This is the case number right here I'm reading you that she was showing in her latest video. That document she was holding, because I best believe I paused it, made sure I had that case number. There's so many case numbers. This court system is now the circuit court for Baltimore City civil system. I can't find this particular case number in the Maryland Judiciary record anymore search because it's been transferred to here. Case status is complete. Child abuse DV. Order is valid through October 22nd, 2025. So to me, it looks like she got this order. Court order: shall not abuse, shall not contact, shall not enter residence. Respondent shall vacate the home. Emergency family maintenance. So I see where she got her maintenance. Use and possession of vehicle. I don't know if she has a vehicle. She's claiming he stole it or had someone steal her vehicle. I don't know how many vehicles they had. Surrender firearms, pay costs, additional provisions. That's what's valid through October 22nd, 2025, but they will be in court before then. We'll get to the end here. Whew. Now we're finally at the divorce. September 26th, 2024. So that's that same day that I believe Paloma was awarded. Oh, the next day after Paloma was awarded her TPO, it looks like OJ filed for divorce. So we've got OJ versus Paloma, divorce absolute, Baltimore City Circuit Court. That divorce is still open. They have a lot of dates coming up. There's the complaint, absolute divorce, requested by OJ Dowdy, or there was a summons issued. It's kind of hard to read their court system and get all the details, but we know it's a divorce, and I believe he's the one who filed. That's my belief. Let's read through. There's so many, we don't see it, but there's complaints, petitions, probably emergency support, supporting exhibit, affidavit, all this stuff, MV, LS waivers, stuff I don't even know, motion, leave to withdraw, answer complaint, blah, 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 judges, lawyers, everything, notice to employ new counsel issued. Someone got a new lawyer. Stuff is happening today as we speak. It says line yesterday, whatever that means, line. There's stuff, copies mailed. I was glad to see this just today. November 22nd, there might be even more on there now. There's a family law parenting education order. So it's kind of like, look, I know people who go through a divorce, parents who go through a divorce have to do that stuff. It helps learn how to co-parent. But if any of her allegations are true, we don't want OJ around the children. Now, February 7th, 2025, they have a conference scheduled. So we will see what happens with that divorce. In the meantime, last month, OJ was still getting cited for traffic violations. I've already requested body cam and so much stuff on this case, so I don't know how long it'll take to get back to me. I finally got to the right entity, Lord willing, in Jesus' name. October 23rd, 2024. OJ was cited for traffic violations. He displayed expired registration plates issued by any state. So maybe he took care of that. That's everything the court says as of today that I've found. It took a lot of doing. Let's talk briefly about what the niece says. You know, every time I'm like going back and forth. The first I'm like, oh, wow, Paloma, I feel so bad for her. Let me do this and that. And then I'm like, oh, whoa, the niece is saying this. And then I go back, oh, Paloma said that. It's really like a tennis match. It's just sad. The niece took to TikTok.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dee, and I am the niece of the trophy wife's husband. Now, I know you know who the trophy wife is because she's been going up and down my timeline for the last couple of days. Her name is Isis, or Paloma, which is her real name. This lady is completely insane. Let's just start from there. Background story. Her and my uncle got together really quick. From what I've been seeing and what I've been told, she thought that she was getting a come up with my uncle. But then when things didn't go her way and she pretty much seen that she could no longer hide the things that she was doing behind closed doors, she ended up trying to find a different route, which was to come on here and lie to you all and tell you that her daughter had been touched by her dad, which that is not the case. Her daughter had been touched by her son, and she didn't want anybody to know because she wanted to try to make it seem like my uncle was the bad guy because she wasn't getting what she wanted in the divorce. For you smart ladies out there who sat up there and thought to yourselves, oh, you know, this cannot be true. This can't be, you know, something that a woman would allow, which it's not. It's not something that a woman would allow. I am a victim of sexual assault or whatever you want to call it. And I don't appreciate one bit of the accusations being put out there, especially not just because they're fake, not just because that they're out there just for clout, but because of the fact that this involves a family member of mine who I care about dearly. Multiple family members, if you want to put that out there, because the kids are my family too. The boys are somebody else's. The girls and the last baby are a part of my family. And if they're being harmed in any kind of way, I definitely would want to stand up for them, for sure. But her son is the one that the baby first initially said that was touching her. My grandmother was changing the baby one day and she seen that it was red down there and she said that her brother did it. Now, when they went to court, the court did not believe what she was saying because Paloma had already Isis had already put out a case against my uncle because my uncle was furious when he found out that her oldest son was touching the girls. So he went out and tried to, seek help to figure out what he should do about getting her son away from the girls so that they would no longer have to go through this. But as soon as he did that, Isis went and took papers out on him claiming that he did it because she didn't want her son to go down for it. On top of all of this, she's sitting over here acting like she's the best parent in the world, when if y'all go look for yourself, y'all will see that she has a child abuse case of her own. Her youngest son she tried to put it on my uncle that he abused her youngest son, which loves my uncle to death. But the day that her and her ex tried to put out there that my uncle had abused her son, he wasn't in the state. He wasn't nowhere near. So once they went to the hospital and they took the little boy to the hospital, the one thing that they didn't do this time is the social workers pulled him aside and started asking him questions and asked him, who hurt you? Come to find out, the little boy told and said that it was her. Not only that, her oldest son has sent my uncle threatening messages. He has rubbed poop on the walls at multiple family members' house, including theirs. He has pushed his younger brother down the stairs to the point where he had a concussion, and she didn't want to take him to the hospital because she didn't want them to know that she had, a son that had been abusing all her other kids. And then not only that, he hasn't just touched the two girls, he's touched all three of the kids. He's touched his little brother, he's touched his 4-year-old sister, and he's touched his 2-year-old sister. But all of this will come out eventually. My uncle cannot say anything right now because the case is still open. But my thing is, you sitting over here saying that he did all of this stuff, but if he did, the police themselves said that he would be in jail. They would have took him to jail as soon as the hospital said, oh my gosh, the baby's been touched. He would have been in booking right away. He wouldn't be out right now working. He wouldn't be out right now being bothered with all of this extra stuff that you're putting on him because of the fact that you want money. Like, what mother uses this platform to sit up there and say, my babies have been, or my babies have been touched, excuse me, and then sit over there and then try to put a GoFundMe page up? You know why she's putting that GoFundMe page up? Because my uncle has had enough. He's not giving you any money. He's not sitting over there playing into your little schemes where she sits over there and tries to have her kid's father call his phone to get him to talk to the kids so that she can say he's in breach of a restraining order. Like, there's so much proof behind all of this stuff that you all do not realize that is going to come down on her head. But yet you all are sitting over here believing her sob story, not doing your research, and paying her money. This girl has up to $2,000 already on GoFundMe. Probably more now because I haven't even checked this morning. But it's crazy how y'all will go for a black man or go for any man off of what a woman says, like women don't lie every day to get ahead. I am a strong advocate for black women, for women in general, for people in general. But men, I feel like we need to just slow down a little bit and not always think that they're the bad guys, because it goes both ways. And I am a mother of a black little boy. So for me, I can understand why she would want to cover up for her son, but at the same time, me personally, if my son is doing anything like that and I have other kids, I want to get him the best help possible away from his siblings until he is confirmed better. And I know he's no longer a threat to the other kids in the house, because you can't just sit over there and single out one kid and be like, oh, I'm going to protect this one, but whatever happens to the other ones just happens. That's not okay. And then you want to sit over here and portray to these women out here that, oh, it's okay to be a trophy wife, just go for that rich man type deal. No, how about go get your own money? How about stop please, ladies, please stop waiting on a man to fulfill your life financially, spiritually, emotionally, all this other extra stuff, and find your own way. Do that. Because when you find your own way and you know your self-worth and you know what you are capable of and what you will tolerate and what you won't tolerate, then the good man will come find you. But until you know your self-worth, you're just going to keep picking up anything off the street and being like, oh, okay, he got a little bit of money in his pocket, so he going to treat me right. No. Because the one thing that you don't realize is that man that has that money, he's also got a little brain in his head too. So he also is already aware of these women that's coming out here to do these things to him or to try to trap him in these ways just for money or attention or the clout or whatever. Like, come on. We are in 2024, about to be 2025. Why are we still doing these same little tricks? Somebody needs to be teaching y'all how to make your own money, how to get your own way. So then that way, when you do find that good man with a lot of money, then y'all can build together instead of sitting over there waiting for him to give you an allowance or whatever, your little stipend for the month. Be real. Just want to let y'all know, for the crusties and the dusties, please be mindful of what you put out here on the internet, because you could be getting a lawsuit coming to your doorstep for you putting out accusations of stuff that you have no idea about. Everything that I'm telling you right now on this computer screen or on this platform, I'm letting you know that this is the truth. This woman, it's no records that she has been, that little girl has been touched by my uncle. No record. But it is a record that she had a diaper rash. It is a record that she has child abuse charges against her. It is record that her son has sent my uncle threatening messages. It is a record that she's not telling the whole truth on this platform, what she said in the courtroom. The courtroom that she had my nieces sitting in looking at the wall the whole entire time so that they wouldn't get emotional looking at my uncle. Because they love their daddy. And now he has to suffer without seeing his kids because of the fact that this woman wants to lie and slander his name because she did not get what she wanted in the divorce. The divorce that she did not put out there, by the way. Because me personally, if anybody had did anything to my kid, oh, baby, I'm going down there first thing and divorcing this person. I'm not about to sit over there and wait. If anybody rapes me or takes my goods without me and my knowledge or without me saying yes, oh baby, I'm not about to stay married to somebody like that. That's crazy. But for you to sit over there and say that he's done all these terrible things to you and yet it took him to divorce you and not you to divorce him, open your eyes, ladies. Stop being stupid. Because this girl is full of lies. Full of lies. Everything y'all heard. First off, let me ask you. Let me get this. Look. Who wipes their eyes all the way up here like this when you're crying? Huh? Who does that? Nobody. If I'm wiping my face, I'm wiping all down here because I'm a sloppy crier. And I'm pretty sure most of y'all are too. I don't know why y'all sitting over there trying to act like them housewives doing all that little... No. Let them tears drop if you real. Because if I'm talking about my baby and something like that happen, oh, I don't care if it's ugly cry or not. I'm gonna have snot and everything coming down my face. But this girl could barely even look at the camera the entire time she was talking on this video. I have no reason to lie to y'all. But I want to let y'all know that the disrespect with my uncle, it has to stop, because this man has done nothing. And the reason why you don't hear him saying anything is because he knows that this is an open case. And when you have an open case, just like we see on The Housewives with Karen Huger and anybody else that goes through a case, you cannot talk about it until the case is over. So ISIS, this is my message to you. I hope to God that you got your ducks in a row. I hope you hired a new lawyer after the last lawyer sat up there and took herself away from your case because she seen that it was no case. So I hope you hired a really good lawyer, or I hope these people give you enough money to where you can get you a good lawyer. Because, baby, you going under the jail. And I hope these people crucify you for all the lies that you have got on here and told. You are not a good person. You are not a good mother. You only... And even right now, you're still out there looking for the next victim. You're out here looking for the next victim. And that's so, like, I'm laughing because that's so fucking sad. But you need not come for me and mine. You need to know that. Because this man does not deserve it. And I know some that do. But he doesn't. So for all of you out there that had the good mind of thinking that she was a liar and that she was just putting on to get sympathy points, yes, she is. And I'm sorry that the rest of you fell for the okie doke and you have egg on your face right now. Because that's what you get for listening to stupid stuff on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok. You're listening to that stuff and you don't even know the whole story. You don't even care to find out the whole story. You're just going to condemn a person, say that you wish them dead, that they should be under the jail and all this other extra stuff, when the justice system doesn't even feel that way because they don't have any evidence that he did anything. So please, next topic, next subject. I better not see no more. I better not see no more. Because when he come out, baby, all y'all that's out there right now talking junk are going to be so sick. Because this girl is sick. Her and her son. I'm sorry to say it. Because I don't want to talk about nobody else's kid. But if it's the truth, it's the truth. So they're going to get theirs. Don't worry. They're going to get theirs. And they're going to get the help that they need, hopefully. And I hope all y'all out there that's sitting over there calling my uncle all kinds of names, saying that he needs to die and all this other extra stuff, I hope y'all are the ones that help her get the help. Because y'all need it right along with her. Have a nice day. Signing off.
This is OJ's niece, mind you, so I don't know if she's just caping real hard for her uncle or if maybe it's coming from a place of genuine anger. No one would want to see someone get on YouTube and get 2.2 million views based off lies if they're based off lies. If it's the truth, then it's true. But whatever we want is we want the harmed children to get their justice, but we don't want any wrong person going to prison. I don't see any arrest records, but I was like, I hope it's not a lie. I mean, of course, I don't want the children to be harmed, but I hope Paloma would not falsely blame a man who could get hemmed up in prison for decades if he did not do this. That's my thing. Because you know how they treat pedos in prisons, and it's just... You don't want anyone falsely accused. On the same token, you don't want people coming after Paloma if her child truly did make this outcry, if it's really the truth, if she believed her daughter, if she did not coach her daughter, if she took her daughter, like she says, directly to the hospital and tried to press charges against him. More on that. Here we go. The niece says Paloma was looking, quote, for the come up. She claims the little girl and all the other kids were actually touched by Paloma's own son. So she's blaming not her uncle, she's blaming the oldest son for all this, which is horrible. The niece says she wanted to make it seem like my uncle was the bad guy because she wasn't getting what she wanted in the divorce. See, I don't know if that's true because of just how the order in which we read it. The first thing we saw come through, if these Maryland court systems are correct, was on September 24th, OJ trying to get some kind of temporary protection orders, 3 of them on behalf of his 3 biological children with Paloma. He was trying to get that TPO through. It was denied. September 24th, first interaction for this married couple together like this. So the question is, why did he do that? The niece is saying, though, that Paloma wanted to make it seem like, OJ was the bad guy because she wasn't getting what she wanted in the divorce. But the divorce filing didn't come through until after that. So that part is like, wait. Anyway, the niece is claiming Paloma's son was the first one who said he was touching the baby. The niece said, my uncle was furious when he found out the son was touching the girls. And then she says, Isis went and took papers out on him claiming that he did it because she didn't want her son to go down for it. I'm still trying to be neutral here, but I'm trying to see what's what. If that's true, why did the courts deny OJ the TPOs, 3 of them he was seeking on behalf of his children against Paloma? They denied that. There must not have been enough evidence, I guess. It's in the court system. But they granted Paloma her TPO on behalf of at least one of the daughters I found and seen physical evidence of when she held it up. Why did the court grant that but for Paloma but deny it for OJ? I'm just asking. What evidence? We don't, of course, want to see the evidence. We just want to see what behind the scenes made the court make that decision. Did they have a psychologist talk to the kids? And the niece did say, the kids were spoken to, I guess, by a psychologist or someone. The niece claims this trophy wife tried to get her kids to call their dad so he'll be in breach of his stay-away protection order. So the niece is saying the dad does have a stay-away protection order. So the commentator is asking the niece, so where's the proof it was not your uncle? And the niece is saying, we can't put everything up right now because the court case is still going. Continue watching the videos. So who knows? Now, in the meantime, Isis has been deleting videos. There is only that one video residing on her YouTube channel. Now, some of them, again, I've captured and uploaded to my Patreon, or I'll still be doing it while I'm processing this video. The links are below. But her Instagram videos are gone. One of her TikTok accounts is gone, the new trophy wife, that's gone. So these videos are the center of controversy. People are going back over them and, because they hear screams emanating from the background and the things that the creator Paloma says in reply to hearing those screams. People do take it too far, in my opinion. Okay, Isis had this video originally published to YouTube 8 months ago. It was under the title My First Live, and she was saying, if you can hear my daughter, she's upstairs with my husband being cranky. So I was able to screen record about 5 minutes of that the other night. I was like binging her videos on my watch later list. I downloaded some of them I just screen recorded. I heard something weird, like, wait, what? And I screen record that part. And another part, Isis is like, oh my goodness, why is she screaming? She hears the girl. One part I thought was ironic. She said, find people that you trust to watch your children so that you're able to date. So she was, giving advice when she's just talking about dating, just going out with guys. As a single mother, she was just saying, find people you trust. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's ironic, considering what she's claiming happened. But people were coming at her saying, you knew what was happening. You heard your daughter screaming and she was upstairs with your husband and you knew he must have been doing something. You didn't care. To me, that's far-fetched too. If you hear someone screaming in the other room, especially children, little children tend to scream a lot or be loud or something. That doesn't mean an assault is happening. A kid could be watching Cocomelon or whatever and screaming or singing Baby Shark. I don't know. So no wonder she took some of the stuff down because some of it was way too accusatory, far-fetched, everything. I like to save stuff as evidence, though, in case, it is needed in court just to get to the truth. But I did wonder aloud if any of these accusations are true. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying I wonder, did the assaults, any of them happen while Paloma was going live? That's what's scary to me too to think of, because I tend to warn my family, I put something kind of by the door, like so the dog won't be right by the door making noise, and I'm like, okay, give me an hour or two, whatever, I'm about to go film. It's kind of like my signal for, please, let's try and keep it down a little bit, but I wonder if Paloma's, if any of her accusations are true, did her husband use that as an opportunity to take advantage of the girls? God, I hope not. I mean, I hope these accusations aren't true, but at the same time, I'm not saying don't believe actual victims. That's why I walk a fine line here, because it can come off so easily as attacking Paloma and calling her a bold-faced liar and she's just a gold digger and it's all her fault. And I've watched some really harsh reactions to her. I don't know if they're well-deserved or not, because I just want to know truth. So let's look at the trophy wife's clapback. Okay, on the evening of Thursday, November 21st, 2024, somehow I missed it, she went live, Paloma did, showing proof of the court documents.
Heard people are trying to blame my son. I couldn't get on here fast enough. I thought I heard someone who I've never met in my life coming on here trying to blame my son. Someone whom I've never met in my life trying to come on here and blame my son for the sick and disgusting things that my daughter's father was doing. This is not a game. This is not a game. How dare you? How dare you blame this on an innocent child? You talk about you got proof? You have proof? I've got proof right here. Right here. Show me your paperwork. Show me your paperwork. You talk about I am saying something different than when I was in court. Honey, you weren't even there. I've never seen you in my life. It's not very good. Oh my gosh. Y'all want to see my protective order? Y'all want to see my protective order right here? I'm going to cover my daughter's name. I'm going to cover my daughter's name. In the case of a vulnerable adult and a minor child, a relative, there is a preponderance of the evidence to believe that the respondent committed the following acts of abuse. Statutory abuse of a child. R word or a statutory S offense. Father has been coming into two-year-old and 4-year-old daughters' rooms and SAing them. This is from the judge. There's the case number. It matches the records. There's the proof. There's the proof.
And those court documents, we'll read what they say. Her court documents, she read, there is a preponderance of the evidence to believe that the respondent, who would be OJ, committed the following acts of abuse: statutory abuse of a child, the R word or sex offense. It says father has been coming into 2-year-old and 4-year-old daughter's room and basically essaying them. Now it's saying a preponderance of the evidence. We know that's still an accusation. That is not, gavel bang, you've been convicted of this. He hasn't even been arrested that I can find. So they're saying preponderance of the evidence. I don't know what evidence they're talking about. I don't know if they mean by speaking to the children. I don't know if they have video evidence. I have no idea what the court document is talking about because we just don't have it. So that's all I can do is read it. And then today, Friday, November 22nd, 2024, Paloma posted the following on her community page. If I need to be bullied, lied on, discredited, and whatever else to bring awareness and put attention on this man's crimes, then so be it. Now, mind you, when she went live last night, Paloma was like, I've never met this niece. I don't even know who this woman is who's, taking to TikTok to defend her uncle so vehemently. I could see both sides. If someone were lying on some woman or man I love, some person in my family, of course I'd want to get on there and defend them. But, is she telling you what she knows for sure or just what he's telling her? Is he telling her the truth or is he lying? Is he being silent because he's been advised to be silent? Oh, there's just so much to this case. That's why I've just been digging for days and just fascinated with and just horrified by it. Is she going so hard for her uncle because she's saying he's still walking around. He hasn't lost his job. He's still driving around. He's still out there. He hasn't been arrested, but Paloma has an answer for that too. I don't know what's what. But would you really be so staunchly on your uncle's side? Maybe you would. If you know for a fact you believe him wholeheartedly, he would never touch his daughters. But on the other hand, Paloma's like, look, I've never met you. I don't know who you are, basically. And other people are coming back at the niece like, look, you didn't live in their home with them. It's not like, were you in there tucking the girls to bed? And, anyway. Continuing, Paloma says, all those calling me a liar will eat their words. It's sick to see those who have so much negative things to say about me and barely anything to say about the monster who has committed these acts against his own children. This is the reason victims stay silent and the cycle continues and continues. That is one thing I hate about all this backlash and controversy. It does discourage real victims, and I don't know who's a real victim here. It does discourage real victims from coming forward and even telling their truth. Paloma wrote, the criminal investigation on my husband began from the time I was in the hospital. I tried to press criminal charges the same time I filed the protective order against him, but was told I couldn't because the state must do it. Okay, so the state can press charges, but will they press charges against him? Or did they not find enough evidence yet in 2 months? Unfortunately, these situations are more common than you think, she wrote, and because of this, the state is working through many cases in order to get to mine. So she's saying it's like a backlog. I mean, it is Maryland. What is this? Be More, I think Be More is pretty crowded. In these cases, she wrote, at least in my state, women cannot just press charges for SA. I believe this is unfortunately because women may not always been truthful in these situations. However, in this case, it's all very true. It's crazy that monsters like this can walk free for weeks, months, and even years, sometimes before charges or convictions. So I don't know about that part. She's claiming, it could be true. I don't know. She's saying, okay, some women do lie. They know it's serious for a man to be accused of essaying a child. And it's so unfortunate that some women, I'm sure men have done it too, people have brought false accusations against others. Paloma's saying because of that, that's why the state has to press charges. But she's saying while the state's investigating, it can take weeks, months, or even years before charges or convictions. Yeah, convictions, yeah. I know convictions for sure can take years. I've living witness of that as a true crime channel person. But would it take years before charges are even brought? Ooh, I don't know about that. Months? She said, I can't wrap my head around it. The system must change. I've done everything I can. All that I had left was my YouTube audience. So that's one reason she's saying she went to YouTube. I guess she felt helpless. She's claiming she tried to press charges against OJ. She's claiming her daughter made an outcry against him to her. And she's claiming they told her no, the state has to press the charges. She wrote, for all who pretend that I knew this was happening is completely untrue and the sickest assumption I've heard thus far. I can't believe that this is what you all have come up with. If you call me on a Saturday, today you will hear the same ruckus in the background because that's what it sounds like with 5 kids in the home. I deleted my videos because I'm so tired of being blamed for my daughter's abuse. Yet, the PDF gets off easy. That's what they call pedos. PDF or PDF file. Thank you immensely to those whom have donated to the GoFundMe. I can now afford to hire a lawyer to fight my husband in court, whom is trying to get custody of his victims. Okay, that can be scary. If any of these accusations are true, Lord protect the children from anyone who would bring them harm. If I hadn't made that video, I would still be in the same powerless position trying to fight a man whom has much more resources than I do, which is a scary place to be. You don't use whom that much. It's certain circumstances you use it, sorry. But the point is, she made the video as her own means of crying out. This is what she claims my husband did to our daughters, and I need help. I seem to remember something about not being able to use GoFundMe for criminal defense, though. So that maybe that won't be this circumstance. She's just a lawyer. Anyway, she wrote, please stop being so insensitive. Jesus will have the final say. So Paloma also cleared up some other misconceptions She knew him allegedly for 6 months and ran a background check. So I like this YouTuber Tanya TKO. She caught other screenshots to clear up some misconceptions. Isis wrote, "I'm so tired of misinformation. My daughters are his biological children. This could have happened to anyone. Also, I knew this man for a 6-month period before I became his wife." I don't know how intensely she knew him, but she says, "Yes, I ran a background check. I'm not stupid enough to date online without one. He had no prior charges other than some speeding tickets." So I did see those speeding tickets, and yeah, that was it, really. "I saw every speeding he ever had before I agreed to go on a first date. My dating profile said I had no children." So that's interesting. Paloma saying, look, I didn't even put the fact that I had young kids on my profile just to try and avoid, I guess, pedos who were, out there maybe swiping for women who have young kids. She said, "I never married for money. I married because he pretended to have all the same values as me. I married to build a family on a solid foundation. He never showed signs of being a pedo. But yes, I'll take the blame," she wrote. And she wrote something about there's also another content creator whom has 2 daughters by her husband, their biological father. Would she also be a dumb pick-me-sha? Because people are calling her, "Oh, you dumb pick-me-sha, you're one of those pick-me girls, please pick me." Would she also be a dumb pick-me-sha if her husband did the same to their daughters? Shame on you, shame on you. So Paloma's mad. Whew. I think that's it. I'm finally done. Because I won't tell where he works. OJ is supposedly the senior cyber intelligence agent, and I'm assuming maybe he still has the same job there. I just want to close with 1 Thessalonians 4:3-6. "For this is the will of God, that you be sanctified, separated and set apart from sin, that you abstain and back away from sexual immorality, that each of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, being available for God's purpose and separated from things profane, not to be used in lustful passion like the Gentiles do who do not know God and are ignorant of his will, and that in this matter of sexual misconduct no man shall transgress and defraud his brother, because the Lord is the avenger in all these things, just as we have told you before and solemnly warned you." I'm not even checking to see if there's any updates right now on the court or on Paloma's sites or on the niece's sites or whatever. We'll see if OJ speaks out or whatever. Boy, what a crazy case. What a sad, 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 sad case. We can learn lessons from this. The lessons are, don't be too focused on material things. Follow who you believe God says is your mate, is to marry. Oh, it's just sad. What else can you say about it? I feel just very bad, but I chose that scripture because it did talk about misconduct, but it also talked about, don't defraud your brother because the Lord is the avenger in all these things. We don't know who is zooming who. We don't know who's defrauding who. That's why I'm not blaming either person here, because there's so many diametrically opposed views. We have Paloma in the campus saying, look, this is the God's honest truth. I didn't know he was doing it, but I found out my husband was mistreating our daughters. The 4-year-old made the outcry to me. I took him to the doctor. I did what I was supposed to do, and the cops wouldn't let me press charges. The state has to. That's her stance. We haven't heard from OJ, but we've heard from his niece. Her stance is that, oh, this B over here lying. She's a gold digger. It's just get back because she didn't get what she wanted in the divorce. And she's really the abuser, and she's really the faker and the liar. What do when you have 2 opposing, diametrically opposed views? God is the avenger. None of us should transgress each other nor defraud each other. He knows for sure. The Lord Jesus knows for sure. God knows for sure who is telling the truth. God sees all. He knows all. He knows how to get justice for this child and children and for their mother and their father. He knows who's playing dirty here, what the truth really is. He knows who really did this to the children. If it was just the young boy doing this to his brothers and sisters, that would be handled in a totally different way. This young boy who is how old by now? If he was 7, who is maybe like a 12-year-old by now? Is that correct? I don't know if my math is correct. I think he was 7 5 years ago. If he's a 12-year-old, he would be handled differently. Again, yes, intense therapy, just, oh my goodness, it's sad to think about, but he wouldn't be thrown into prison. However, if that's true, that's a different route than what would happen to OJ, a grown man, a 50-year-old. If Paloma's accusations against him are true and he was really harming his own daughters, well, then it's a totally different case. The state should bring charges. A jury of his peers should evaluate the evidence and decide should he be convicted or not. I pray to God it's not. Either way, it's horrible. But you don't want this woman lying on her husband for some get back. I really hope to God that's not it. And you hope to God it's not the dad touching his daughter. You hope to God there's no one touching them. But if it is the dad, see what I mean? It's just back and forth. All we can do is watch and wait and pray for justice and the truth to emerge. Thank you for watching all this. Take care.